Thank you for joining us. Meteorologist Lisa Meadows tracking another winter storm. This one a little different than the recent storms that we had because it is not only going to bring us a heavy accumulation of snowfall, but it will also be bringing us some strong winds. And that means blizzard, whiteout conditions are possible for part of the state. Here's your latest radar picture. We're starting to see the storm push into the southern part of the state of Minnesota and into Wisconsin. Along that I-90 corridor, we're seeing some of this precip fall. There's a small window for some freezing rain. Do anticipate most of this to be snow. It is to the south of the Twin Cities, but it is on a slow approach just to the south of Cannon Falls right now. Off to the west, more snow filling in from Wilmer, further off down to Worthington. Within the next hour or so, I think we'll start to see some snowfall in the Twin Cities. Very important to understand with this storm, the trek of the storm does not mean heavy snowfall for the Twin Cities. We are looking at a small pocket across the southeastern portion of the state of Minnesota and into western Wisconsin. Here's your forecast. Like I said, heading into about 7 and 8 p.m., we'll see snow start to fall in the Twin Cities. Watch where the snow shield basically kind of cuts off the northern part of the state of Minnesota. That means that the snowfall amounts will drop off rapidly from the Twin Cities off to the northwest. We continue to see the heavier snowfall in the southeastern portion of the state of Minnesota and into western Wisconsin. We continue to see this into the morning hours. It quickly moves on out of here by about 7 a.m. I think the Twin Cities will not see any more snow falling at least, and then by midday it should be moving off to the east. Like I said, when it comes to what we call kind of a gradient, that means the difference between snowfall amounts very tight with this. So heavier snowfall off across the southeast, 10 maybe pockets of a foot of snow in these locations. Once you make your way to the Twin Cities, you're looking at 2 to 4. So not a lot of snowfall, and then even less than that further up to the north. Here's what's going on. So we have this low pressure system in place. Now this is a strong one. This reaches from the upper Midwest all the way off to the south. It's been bringing some severe weather. Tornado warnings have been firing up across the southern part of the U.S. with this storm system because it's a potent, strong storm. Now watch what happens. So this area of low pressure that we're seeing right here, that it's going to continue to push its way off through the northeast. And when it comes to these storm systems, these low pressure systems, the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. So what we've been seeing with the storm system for today, 996 millibars, okay? Now going from 996 down to 970, you're dropping in millibars, which means the pressure of the storm is lowering, which means it's intensifying. What we call explosive cyclogenesis is when you drop 24 millibars in 24 hours. Somewhat of a rare occurrence across the Midwest. This is more likely out across systems that are moving through across the ocean or along the coast. But that is a possibility with this storm. So what does that mean? If we do get that rapid deepening of this storm, then we're going to see these lines off to the west really tighten up. What are those? Those are isobars. They're basically lines of constant pressure. As those continue to get tight, that squeezes the wind through these even faster, almost as if you're squeezing a tube of toothpaste. Wind comes right on through from the northwest here across the state of Minnesota, and that is what is going to bring us those strong winds. Now notice the timing here. This is once the snow has already fallen. It's continuing to move on out of here. Back behind this, the strong winds out of the northwest. And as those winds come through, it's going to be blowing any snow that we have on the ground now or what just fell with this storm system. It's going to be kicking it up in the air, and that means you're looking at the potential for blizzard-like conditions. Very dangerous. The potential for 40 to 50 mile per hour winds favoring the western part of the state of Minnesota with this storm, or the southern part of the state of Minnesota. That means you're looking at the potential for whiteout conditions. Basically, you cannot drive in whiteout conditions. So that is something that we are anticipating the biggest impact tomorrow morning. Here, we'll look at it with your forecast gusts. As we go into the morning hours, here you can see the deeper colors into the reds, the purples out of the northwest. 30, 40, maybe even close to 50 mile per hour winds. That is the reason that we're looking at blizzard-like conditions further off to the west. Blizzard conditions means you just can't see. Whiteout conditions, it's not necessarily the heavy snow. Actually, you can have a blizzard without any snow falling at all, believe it or not. It's just the winds whipping up any of that snow. So we continue to watch this as we head on into the afternoon hours even. We'll keep with those strong winds, and even though we may not necessarily see blizzard-like conditions in the Twin City, it's still going to be very, very windy out there for your Sunday. So that's the reason for this. When it comes to your watches and warnings, where could those winds be strongest or the visibility be the worst? Blizzard warning in the white. So this is just across the southern portion of the metro and then off to the west, the entire western portion of the state. Watching for blizzard-like conditions. So travel is not recommended for these locations further off to the west. And then the heavy snowfall, that is the reason for the winter storm warning. You can see the winter storm warning here in pink. I do think we also kind of extend this further off to the south because that is where we do anticipate seeing some of the heavier snowfall accumulation. All of this goes until 6 p.m. tomorrow. So you know what? It's Sunday. If you don't have to get out, I would recommend not doing so because travel looks pretty rough. Make sure you join us on the news at 10, WCCO News at 10, because we're going to have the latest updates. Of course, model runs come through 24 hours, so we're going to continue to track that. See you at WCCO News at 10. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to join in?
One person, let's see, we're getting some reports of heavy snow in Albert Lee. Mary McGuire, WCCO's reporter, is in Red Wing. She says it's not snowing there yet, and someone said no snow in Mankato yet. I'm wondering, what about our Monday morning commute? Should things look good by then?
Good question. So when it comes to Monday, all of this will be